Hi everyone, my name is Lily. I'm a social worker with Child Protective Services, and I am finally making a new video. It took me a while because I kept trying to look for news to report on and or comment on, and all I kept seeing was people killing their babies. So that made me think of today's topic, which is the times or the reasons why parents wouldn't even get a chance to reunify with their kids. So when CPS comes and decides to remove your children, you don't just lose your kids. Your kids are taken away, and most of the time, you're given reunification services. So, reunification services means that you have a social worker assigned that will help you find what programs are going to help you change your situation, your behaviors, help you enroll for those classes, pay for them, help you with transportation, help you make sure you're seeing your kids, getting progress reports, just figuring out, making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to comply with your court orders. So that's your reunification services, and you are entitled to usually about 12 months. It could be less if you have a baby and you're not making progress. It could be more if you're making progress, and we can ask the court for an extension for you. But that's basically what reunification services is. It's what I do. That's the program I work for. And in the state of California where I work, we have a list of reasons why you wouldn't even get that. When we would go straight to selecting a permanent plan, trying to do adoption or long-term foster care or legal guardianship for kids where we don't think the parents should even get that chance. So the number one, not number one in importance, but this is just how the list starts, right? Is whereabouts unknown. So if we don't know where you're at, how are we going to give you your kid back? So usually what we do for these cases is we do a search at the beginning. If we can't locate you, we leave the case open without services, without anything, but just checking on the kids for 6 months. We do another search, we still can't find you, then we can bypass your reunification services and go straight to a permanent plan. Although it's not really straight to it, we didn't give you that opportunity. The next one is having a mental disability, so a mental health condition or a delay or incapacity that makes you unable to learn what's needed within the necessary time frame. So for this, we need usually two psychological or psychiatric evaluations that state that you are not likely to make progress within the time frame. And usually, because parents do get an assigned attorney, usually the attorney won't let the client do the second one, so we don't use this one a lot. But it's there. In these cases, we'll go through, when they refuse to do the second evaluation that we would need to not offer those services, we'll work with them, we'll do these services, and then at the end of the day, they're not able to make that required progress or change of circumstances. The next one is the sexual or physical abuse of the child or sibling. So let's say your kid's removed for physical abuse, they go back home, and then you do it again. Then that's one of the reasons to skip you, to not give you those reunification services. It has to be the same, so it can't be physical abuse one time and sexual abuse the next time. It's just that you've had this issue in the past, you've gotten the help, and then you did it again. Next would be the parents caused the death of another child. Now, it doesn't have to be a sibling, it's any other child. So if you've caused the death of a child by abuse or neglect, you're not entitled to reunification services with the siblings, or if you have older kids when this happens, or kids that you will have in the future and then have removed for another reason or for any other reason. I'm looking at my list over here. Severe physical abuse of children under 5, so broken bones, multiple bruises, anything that's likely to cause any type of disfigurement without medical help. Severe sexual abuse, pretty self explanatory. We don't need to get into details. It needs to be severe, not just a molestation. There needs to be severity level. I don't know how to say it without getting into details. And this is a nervous laugh, not a funny laugh. Sorry. Okay. Not receiving services for kids under 3, so the physical sexual abuse. 5, the severe abuse or severe sexual abuse. So maybe it's not this necessarily happened to this kid, but to another. You're in the middle of a case, or none case. You had a case and were skipped already for these other siblings, for these other reasons. So now on this case, for this child, you don't get it. Number 8 is not a child that, it just says conceived under this other, children that are conceived under this other act, which is lewd and lascivious acts with children under 14. So rape of a minor, incest. Those babies, the perpetrator or the rapist wouldn't get to have custody of these babies or get to have reunification services for these babies. Abandonment, but in the case where the abandonment itself could cause serious danger to the child. So when they leave the baby in the trash, these sort of circumstances, if nobody finds the baby fast enough, that baby could die. That's one of the reasons not to offer them a right to help to get their children back. Termination of reunification for a sibling. So this one is one we use a lot, because if you've been through the system before with other children and we are here again and we've already been through this, we've already done your 12, 18 months, and then we're starting over with another sibling, there is no need to do it all over again. We know you're not making progress. We can go ahead and skip. The next one would be similar, but it's termination of parental rights. The difference is reunification services is just the help, but you're still the parent. Once you lose your parental rights, that means you're no longer the parent of the child. And that doesn't happen until your child is ready to be adopted by somebody else. 12 is being convicted of a violent felony like murder, rape, mayhem, things that would carry the death penalty, or that could be, well, yeah, we don't want you nowhere near your children. This one's a very popular one for my work. Extensive and chronic drug use that has resisted prior court-ordered drug treatment. So it says if you've failed to make progress in a drug treatment, one court order treatment in the last 3 years. So let's say you got arrested and has a condition of your probation we're supposed to do drug treatment and you failed it, recently, then why are we to think that now it's going to be different? That's the basis of this one. It also says if that's missing one court order in the last 3 years or twice in any treatment that's been easily accessible to you. We use this a lot because we have families that are in this cycle of they just keep having more babies and not addressing their issues, especially with substance abuse. Number 14 is the parent does not want the child. They just, we remove the children for whatever reason and they just said, fine, keep them. We don't want them. That's also a possibility. Number 15 is they have repeatedly abducted the child from their caregiver. So this sounds to me, I'm not a lawyer, but we use this with help of our lawyers. Like the child is already, it's either with the other parent or in a foster care placement and the parent abducts that child. and refuses to allow us or safety checks. Registered sex offender. And this one was new one to me when I looked it up earlier. It's being a knowingly participate or permit sexual exploitation of the children. So if you are pimping out your kid or exchanging your kid for drugs, you're knowingly participating on this or allowing somebody else to do it, then you don't get your reunification. So then what happens if you don't get reunification with your kids? It means, I think I said it earlier, the reunification is the help getting you back, getting them back. If we skip that part, we skip the 12 months in the middle and go straight to the permanent plan. It just means that we're going straight to looking if adoption is the best plan for your kid, because your kids have a right to family, but they also have a right to stability. And adoption is the most stable option. It's the more permanent and stable and secure for them. But sometimes there are reasons why adoption is not the best plan. So that's why we have to have a hearing to see if that's even a good plan for them or not. And then once they decide yes, it is, then that process gets started. And that process can take a couple years, depending on how difficult it is. It can be, if we go with one of the options on this list and skip the 12 months, we're already a year ahead. I hope I didn't make this too boring for you, but I just had the idea of going through, we all hear in the news these horrible stories of parents with like complete lack of regard for their kids' safety, putting them in danger or straight out hurting or murdering the kids. And I just wanted to explain that there are legally reasons why we wouldn't allow parents the option to reunify with their children. That it's not. I know people hate CPS a lot, and some people think that we take kids away from homes when we shouldn't, but a lot of people think that we don't take kids out of homes enough, and that we allow kids to be hurt by their parents. Well, yes, it happens, but there's also the problem is that we can't act until something has happened. But now that it's happened, we have the law on the side that we can prevent from going in these cycles and then letting the kids pay the price for it. So I hope that this was a little bit educational and hopefully not too boring and you get something out of it. And thank you for spending this time with me. Bye.